Yo, what up guys, my name is Zach, hope you're all having a fantastic day and welcome to the day 163 recap of the 2016-2017 NBA season where we talk about everything that went down in the NBA from the previous day. That being said, we have a lot to talk about today, so let's just get right into it. Lance Stephenson is the type of guy that won't let anything slide. After the Raptors ripped him for scoring on them in the final seconds of the game a couple of nights ago, Lance apologized to the media. But then he went home, hired some private investigators to look into the situation, and found out that he actually did nothing wrong at all in terms of the Raptors standards. As he then released this video to his Instagram with this caption: "They got mad at me for what I did, but just look at this. All I did was jelly. But when Lance Stephenson do it, it's a big deal." You know, just reading the caption, it doesn't make the most sense, but you get what he's trying to say. When they do it, it's fine. But when I do it, they get upset about it. And after watching this, I really got nothing to say. I mean, my man's Norman Powell did a breakaway windmill dunk on these Sixers with the Raptors up 20 with a second left to go in the game. Lance Stephenson does a bunny layup with 3 seconds left to go in the game, and all of a sudden they're trying to square up. I don't know, man. I think I gotta give Lance the W on this one. A few weeks ago, it was thought that Dwyane Wade would be out for the remainder of the season after he had like a little fracture in his elbow. And the reason we all thought that his season with the Bulls was done was because the Bulls weren't exactly thought to have been a playoff team at the time. I believe they were currently the 10th seed in the Eastern Conference, and they weren't playing very good basketball at all. However, now it looks like the Bulls will be in the postseason after all, as they are currently the 7th seed with only a few games left to go, which means that Wade could most likely make his return since the season means something now. As for when Wade could return, it could be as early as Saturday, they say, but he is expected to play in at least one game in the regular season and will definitely be back in time for the playoffs, which leads us to the question of the day. The Bulls have been one of the more interesting teams in the NBA this season. Now, they've been playing 500 basketball this entire season so far, and when it comes to the teams they lose to and to the teams that they beat, there's a very distinct line, and the distinct line is they beat good teams and they lose to bad teams. They've beaten the Warriors, they've beaten the Spurs, and they have swept their season series with the Cleveland Cavaliers. But then they'll turn around and lose to teams like Philly, New York, Brooklyn, you know, Lakers, stuff like that. But with that in mind, do you think that the Bulls can give either the Celtics or the Cavs problems in the first round? Personally, I don't know if they'll win, but the Bulls do have what it takes to make things interesting. They have a great, phenomenal player in Jimmy Butler, plus the experience of Wade. The Bulls aren't your typical 7th or 8th seed team, but like I said, I think they will at least be able to make things interesting, but don't take the Cleveland thing, them sweeping Cleveland thing to heart. LeBron James has proven that regular season matchups against him really don't mean anything when it comes to the playoffs. Let me know your guys' opinion to the question of the day down in the comment section below, but now let's check out what some of you guys said from yesterday's video. So yesterday, after the Raptors attacked Lance Stephenson for scoring in the final seconds but the game was already decided, I asked you guys if what Lance did was disrespectful, and there were a few of you that said it was, but I'd say the majority of you were just straight up savages that wouldn't care if Lance scored, stole the inbound pass, and then scored again. Lance should have blown in DeMar's ears to be a little more disrespectful. Nah, it's not disrespectful. You have to play until the final whistle. Raps should be mad at themselves for getting blown out. I'm sure they were mad at themselves for getting blown out like that, but I think what Stephenson did just compiled upon their anger and caused them to boil. I found it disrespectful, but here's my take on it. Everybody says play until the clock says 0, but if this incident happened to that person's favorite team, they'd feel disrespected too. I see what you're saying, but personally for me, if this happened to my Pistons, I couldn't feel disrespected because my Pistons disrespect themselves on the court every time they step onto it this year, it seems. Yes, it's disrespectful. The people who don't think so make a decent argument, but all the NBA greats and superstars of today's NBA agree that you just run the shot clock down during the last possession, especially when you're winning. For the past 13 or so years when I've been watching basketball, you rarely see things like this happen. I do always see the players just running down the clock, so it is a sign of just like, you know, a mutual understanding between the players that the game is over. It's not disrespectful, it's an unwritten rule, which means that you have a choice to follow it or not, especially when the league isn't going to do anything about it. It's this exactly. It's an unwritten rule between the players, kind of like a code that the players kind of are supposed to abide by, but Lance Stephenson broke that code, I guess, and that caused the Raptors to get upset. But then again, you saw what Lance leaked earlier in today's video where Norman Powell did something a little more disrespectful to Philly, and it's like, you know, it's a very blurry line. But that's gonna wrap it up for this portion of the video. Now let's jump into the games from last night. Easily one of the most important games of the night, as the top two teams who are tied in the standings for the #1 seed in the East battle it out. Well, in the first quarter, it was a battle at least. After that though, the Cavs built a pretty sizable lead and sustained it the rest of the way to get the 114-91 win, and are now one full game up on Boston, with only 4 games left to go for both teams. James didn't get his third triple-double in a row, but that didn't mean he didn't have a great game. 36 points, 10 rebounds, and 6 assists for LeBron, while Isaiah Thomas scored 26 for Boston. Kyle Lowry made his return for the Raptors last night after about missing the past 6 weeks of action, and he looked like he never left, to be honest. Lowry finished the game with 27 points and 10 assists as the Raptors come back from as many as 18 down in the first quarter, and after trailing basically the entire game, to get the 105-102 win over Detroit. KCP missed the first half of the game for the Pistons due to family reasons, but he joined the team in the second quarter and started in the second half as Detroit now finds themselves on the brink of elimination for playoff contention. The Cavs and Celtics game might have been pretty important, but so was this one, especially for the Hornets, as they really couldn't afford to lose. Their chances of making the playoffs were already extremely slim, and now they're just about as likely to make the playoffs as my Pistons are. They fall to the Heat 112-99. The Heat absolutely buried the Hornets from beyond the arc last night, hitting 21 of their 43-point attempts, led by Dragic and his 33 points on 5 of 9 shooting from deep, and James Johnson also got the start last night and was unconscious from the field, scoring 26 points on 10 of 12 shooting, including 6 of 7 from 3. Hassan Whiteside also had 13 points and 20 rebounds, and Kemba Walker had 18, and Nick Batum scored 24 for Charlotte. Someone give that man a rebound, please. Anyone, give that man Russell Westbrook a rebound. He had a chance last night to set the record and break his tie that he currently has with Oscar Robertson for the most triple doubles in NBA history, and he was so close. 45 points, 10 assists, and 9 rebounds. Oh yeah, and 5 steals for Westbrook. So close, man. So close. He still has 4 more games to get it though. More importantly for the Westbrook though is that the Thunder basically took away the Grizzlies' chance of getting the 6th seed last night with the 103-100 win. Mike Conley was MIA for Memphis as he was still trying to recover from the recoil he took from headbutting Kawhi Leonard in their previous game. Marc Gasol had 23 points and 4 blocks for the Grizzlies. No Draymond Green and no Andre Iguodala for Golden State in this one, as they were both out due to rest. And last game it was Klay who carried the team offensively, and the time before that it was Curry, and this time once again it was Curry who dropped his second 40-point game within the last 3 games, as he drops 42 points on 8 of 13 shooting from deep to go along with 11 assists, 5 rebounds, and even 2 blocks to get the Warriors the 120-111 win over the Suns. And with this one, the Warriors clinched the #1 seed in the Western Conference, and I believe they have become the first franchise in NBA history to record 3 straight 65-plus win seasons. Klay also had 22 for Golden State, while Eula scored 20 and Booker had 21 for the Suns. Surprise, surprise, surprise. I don't think anyone saw this one coming. The Lakers led from the beginning to the end to get the 102-95 win over the Spurs. Though the Spurs were down as many as 26 though, so you know they did at least come back to make a game out of it. Tyler Ennis started the game in place of D'Angelo Russell last night, who was out due to an injury, and Ennis played really well, scoring 19 points and dishing out 6 dimes, while his backcourt mate Clarkson had 17. And you know, at the half, Popovich just decided that there was no point in playing Leonard and Aldridge, as neither of them entered the game in the second half for San Antonio. Parker had 14 points in his 18 minutes for the Spurs. After missing the last game with the flu, James Harden returned to action last night for the Rockets, and that was unfortunate for Denver, as if Harden didn't return, they most likely would have got the win and would have only been a half game behind Portland for the 8th seed. But that wasn't the case, as Harden did of course play, and not only did he play, but he balled out. 31 points, 10 assists, 7 rebounds, and 3 blocks, and the Rockets get the 110-104 win despite a valiant effort from Jokic. The Joker didn't score much, only 12 points, but he also had 19 rebounds, 9 assists, and 5 steals. The Clippers will probably be fighting for Utah for home court advantage in the first round up until the final buzzer of the final game in the regular season, as long as they keep winning, that is. And they did continue to win last night with the 112-101 win over Dallas. The 3 upcoming free agents for the Clippers all made solid cases for bigger contracts this offseason too. Griffin with 32 points and 6 rebounds, CP3 with 22 points and 11 assists, and JJ Redick, who I'm sure will low-key be one of the top guys on a lot of teams' wish list this summer, had 25. Meanwhile, Harrison Barnes had 15 for the Mavericks. And that about wraps up all the action for the day 163 recap of the 2016-2017 NBA season, and now it's time to get into the player of the day. Yesterday, you guys selected Russell Westbrook and his historic triple-double of 12 points, 13 rebounds, and 13 assists as your player of the day, and here are today's nominees. Once again, you have Russell Westbrook and his 45 points, 10 assists, 9 rebounds, and 5 steals. Stephen Curry and his 42 points, 11 assists, 5 rebounds, and 2 blocks. LeBron James and his 36 points, 10 rebounds, and 6 assists. Kyle Lowry and his 27 points and 10 assists. James Harden and his 31 points, 10 assists, 7 rebounds, and 3 blocks. Goran Dragic and his 33 points, or Chris Paul and his 22 points and 11 assists. As always, you guys can go vote for the player of the day by following the straw poll link down in the description box below. But other than that, thank you once again for watching this video. Hope you guys did enjoy it. And if you did, don't forget to leave a like on it and subscribe if you haven't already for more daily NBA videos. And until tomorrow, keep getting the buckets, Team SDC, and I'm out of here. Peace!